Internet, it's me. Now, today, I turned 40. That's right, I'm old. Yeah, I thought for fun, to celebrate being old, I would go through and just talk about my favorite game from each of the 40 years that I've been alive. That is so long. Let me start off by saying, obviously, this is a subjective list. You know, I'm just saying my favorite game. There will probably be some you disagree with. There will certainly be some you disagree with. That's cool. You're allowed to have other opinions. You're even allowed to have wrong opinions. It's fine. You know, if you disagree, that's cool. Make your own list. Leave it in the comments. Or you know what? Make your own video and just list out every year every game from every year you've been alive. Hell, send me the link. I'll watch it. Like, that's fine. We can disagree. It's cool. Don't be weird about it. Because this is the internet and people do get weird about things. But no, this is just, I'm doing this for fun because I have nothing better to do today. Don't read into that. It's not as sad as it sounds. But yeah, so I'm just going to talk about a bunch of video games. And this video is probably already gonna be like 400 hours, so let's just jump into it. Okay, so starting with the very beginning, and you probably saw the game as I was just picking it up there, it is of course Tetris. Now I know some other big games came out this year. Obviously Super Mario Brothers came out in 1985. It actually most likely released either on or very close to the day I was born. Also, Section Z came out that year. A lot of you might not care. I loved that game. It was a scrolling shooter with like a labyrinthine map layout. Great game. Huge fan. But I gotta give it to Tetris. Which, by the way, I don't know if you can see that. The price tag on this box says $7.99. You used to be able to get a complete in-box NES game for less than $10. Because the collectible market wasn't always the insanity that it is now. Yeah, I don't know. This game was just everything for me. I love it so much. I've always liked puzzle games. You know, Adventures of Lolo is a big one for me. Dr. Mario is the reason I collect video games. Kirby's Avalanche was one of the first games I ever beat to completion with an audience. Like, I had a friend or two over and my mom was in the room watching. Like, a bunch of people were watching me as I beat it for the first time. Big thing. But yeah, puzzle games have always been huge for me. But this one takes the cake. Like, it's just, I don't know, it's Tetris. I don't have to explain it to you. You know what it is. It's an absolute classic. And what's fun is, for a while, I was active on the game collecting subreddit before people there just got really gatekeepy and shitty about folks that own, like, sealed games or whatever. But I was known on there as the Tetris guy, because in this room, you can only see a portion of it, there are probably 40 or so different copies of Tetris for various consoles. A bunch of import ones. One was a homebrew, some unlicensed. Like, if it's Tetris, I try to get it. Obviously, the one I don't have is Tengen Tetris for the Genesis, because no one has that. But I'm working on it. If I ever see it in the wild, you can bet your ass I'll have it. But yeah, I just love Tetris. And so that's why this is my favorite. Also, I'm probably playing right now, because I'm going to try to, for all of these, play some sort of music in the background. So it's not just me talking at you, but I'm probably playing a remix of Music 3 from this game. And this remix is probably the closest I've ever come to a religious experience. Greatest piece of music ever. And I'm going to put a challenge out to you, the internet. The person that made this remix does not exist, from what I can tell. They posted the remix on VGMix, which is a now defunct website, and then they just disappeared. There's no forums or anything from that site still active, but I asked on other remix websites, no one knows who the guy is, they haven't made anything else. They just don't exist anymore. So they just made the greatest music in the world and then disappeared. I don't understand, but there you go. But anyway, yeah, Tetris, obviously, you know, one of the best games ever, and I'm a fan. Okay, 1986. I was 1. And so, of course, my favorite game, Legend of Zelda. I didn't play it as a 1-year-old. I don't think I played any games until I was like 3, maybe 4, somewhere in there. But, you know, obviously, it's Legend of Zelda. It created a whole franchise. One of the best franchises. Um, yeah, what do you even say? You know, you're all familiar with it, obviously. Everybody is. But for me, it's just, I don't know, it brings back a lot of memories as a kid of just, you know, solving the puzzles in the game and finding all the different secrets, realizing you can burn down bushes and there's stuff hiding under them. I know one story my mother has told numerous times in my life. I don't remember it happening, but I've heard the story enough that I can picture it. Apparently, her and my father, when he was around, would play the game and just, you know, go back and forth trying to progress further in just a file that we all shared, basically. And my mother was the one that figured out that one of the dungeons is hidden under a lake, and you have to go and blow the flute on the screen where that lake is, and it will dry up and you can enter the dungeon. And when she realized that, she was so excited, she immediately like called other people into the room to look and see and just, you know, visualize what she did and acknowledge her greatness. Granted, she was like 25 at the time, so, you know, it's understandable. People in their 20s are weird. Man, that's a weird thought too. Wow. But yeah, Legend of Zelda, it's a classic for me. It's, you know, it's my favorite franchise and has been pretty much forever because of this game. You know, it started a lifelong love affair of this franchise. And I know Nintendo is the devil now, but back then, they made good games because they gave a shit. And this, I think, is just proof of that. Like, this really, you know, it changed how games work with, like, the overhead view and just how it encouraged you to explore and experiment and try things and look for every nook and cranny. Because, you know, maybe if you put a bomb on this rock, there's a guy underneath it that will give you an extra heart container. Or if you touch this moving statue, when it comes to life and moves off of where it's standing, there'll be a staircase underneath and you can get treasure in there. You know, maybe you have to blow a flute next to a lake and that's where the next dungeon is. You know, it's just a lot of that kind of stuff. You know, it changed how I and many people play video games. You know, in any RPG or open world game or even just action-adventure that isn't just a straightforward A to B kind of game, I explore now. I look for every nook and cranny. So whenever you play any kind of collectathon or whenever there's, you know, an optional objective like the Golden Chocobo in Final Fantasy, like, that all is because of this. This was the game that did that. That's why we have those things. So, yeah, to me, there's no beating this. It is clearly the best. Okay, 1987. This was a tough year. Honestly, you know, as I was putting together this list and figuring out what my favorite game each year would be, I had to look up, you know, what were the major releases of each year, and then I also went through just like a bunch of my favorite games or the games I'm the most nostalgic for, and look what year they came out too, and just compile the two lists and figure out my favorite. And let me tell you, this is the first year that really gave me pause. Like, Tetris was going to beat Section Z and Mario Brothers. You know, those are both good games, but Tetris is a clear winner. And then Legend of Zelda, it doesn't matter what else came out that year, it's Legend of Zelda. Which, by the way, there were some strong contenders that year. Rygar, Dragon Warrior, Metroid, Castlevania, Gauntlet 2, Arkanoid, Bubble Bobble. 86 was stacked, but it's Zelda. But this year, oof, I have, you know, I'm looking off a list. I don't remember the release year of every game, although I know more than I should. But Zelda 2, Final Fantasy, Simon's Quest, which I know everyone else hates, I love, R-Type, Penguin Land, and Shadowgate all came out in 87. That is insane. That is an amazing lineup, but none of those are my favorite. My favorite is Robo Warrior. This game, I don't even know how to explain. I do actually know how to explain it. It's Bomberman on steroids, and it's fucking amazing. I love this game so much. I played this, just honestly, just looking at like the screenshots on the back makes me happy. I played this to death as a kid. I cannot even tell you how many times I beat the first few levels of this game. I say the first few levels because I didn't actually beat the whole game until much, much later in life. Even as a kid with the Game Genie, I would still somehow find a way to lose. But yeah, it was just, oh my god, it was incredible. Every level, it wasn't necessarily a maze, but But there was like at the beginning where you started out, and then there was like an in-between section, and it was all scrolling, so it was seamless. You didn't know that there were different sections. But there's an in-between section that hidden in one of the bushes in the level, and that's where the Bomberman aspect comes in. You can blow up bushes. Hidden underneath one of them is the game, I believe, called it a trophy. To me, it always looks like an ice cream sundae. But if you find that ice cream sundae, the level stops looping, because that repeatable section, the middle section that I talked about, if you don't find the ice cream sundae, it will keep looping over and over. When you get to the end of it and the screen is scrolling, you'll just go right back into the beginning of it, and it'll just keep scrolling eternally forever until you find that ice cream sundae. Once you find it, then when you get to the end of that middle section, it'll just move on to the final screen portion of the level. I say screen, again, it's one big continuous map. It scrolls seamlessly. There's no transitions, there's no hard cutoffs. When you get to this final screen and it doesn't scroll anymore, somewhere on that screen, under one of the bushes, will be a key. And once you get the key, then the door to exit the level will appear. It sounds straightforward, even though I explained it poorly. It's kind of straightforward, but it's not at the same time. Because A, you will run out of bombs, and to get them, you have to kill the enemies that are on the screen. But they're flying, or they're doing something to fight you back. Like, some of them can shoot, some of them can pass through solid objects, some take a lot of hits to kill. There's a lot going on. And then also there are hidden items and power-ups and boosts under some of the bushes too. So when you blow them up, occasionally you'll find something that will refill some of your health, or make you temporarily invincible, or will let you see in the dark. It will let you walk on water. There are all kinds of power-ups and health benefits and extra bombs and ammo and all of that. It's, I don't know. Like I said, it's harder to explain, but also not. Like, it is Bomberman, essentially. You're just using the bombs to blow shit up and get out of the level. But there's a lot more to it. Like I said, you have to kind of either know where the ice cream sundae is, or just blow up every bush until you find it. Your health is going down as time goes on. You have like an oxygen tank basically in your suit. And the longer it takes you, the more oxygen you're depleting, and you can refill it by finding the little health boosts. But as the level loops, anything that you already found, like any bush that you exploded that had a power-up under it, the power-up doesn't come back. So it's not like you can loop the same level forever, and keep refilling power-ups. You have to, find and use them and then get out of the level in an appropriate time, or you're just gonna die. So there's definitely challenge there, and I don't know, it's just a lot of fun. It's one of those games that the concept is easy and straightforward, but there's challenge there anyway, and I think that's what makes it addictive, is that there is challenge, but not in a frustrating, this is impossible, I'm annoyed kind of way, but more just in a, oh man, I almost had it, let me try again, now that I know where that ice cream sundae is, I can get through here quicker kind of way. It's just a lot of fun. I really love this game. Again, a huge part of my childhood. I played this to death. I played so much of this game. Alright, 88. This is the year that we got Silkworm, we got RC Pro-Am. I know both of those are titles you probably wouldn't think to even mention, but to me they're both great, and I played them a lot, I love them. In fact, one of the prototypes I have is for Silkworm. Also, this is the year that Super Mario Bros. 2 came out. But none of those are my favorite. What is my favorite? Obviously, Super Mario Bros. 3. Also, I do notice that all the games I've talked about so far I've had in box, except for Zelda. I do have Legend of Zelda in box. There's display cases in the warehouse that have every Zelda game, all of them complete in box, some of them sealed. So the box copy's in there. I do have it in box. It's my favorite franchise. I have every game. There's no way I would not have that in box. But yeah, Super Mario Bros. 3. I mean, come on. This is... I just had this conversation with someone the other day. This is, if not the best 2D platformer, it's easily in the top 3. Like, it's just, how do you beat this? The level design and the different worlds with the different themes, the music, everything in this is absolutely perfect. I mean, the movie The Wizard wouldn't exist without this game, and some might argue that would be a good thing, but I'm a fan of that movie, and I'm a huge fan of this game. Also, I know the warp whistles exist. I know how and where to get them. I never used them. I don't know why anyone would. Why would you skip any world of this game? They're all great. I love the desert. I love the water world. I love giant world. I love pipe world. I love the sky world. They're all good. Why would you skip any of them? Yeah. Like, again, it's weird to talk about these games because obviously you all know these games. Like, maybe not Robo Warrior, but like, what am I going to tell you about Super Mario Bros. 3? It's always in the top 100 video games ever made lists. Always. Like, it doesn't matter who's making the list. This one always makes it. Because it's just clearly one of the best games ever, and easily the best game from 1988. But yeah, this is another one I played so much as a kid. In fact, let me tell you how much of a nerd I was. When I wasn't playing the game, we had the strategy guide, and I would read through the strategy guide. Again, I was, like 3 or 4 this year, so, cut me some slack. I would look at the strategy guide and, like, with my finger, make the trail where I would go as Mario of how to get through the game. And that's it. I would look at the strategy guide and act as though I were playing the game, just reading the guide. So, yeah. Huge fan of this game. I have memorized the layout to every level. I have played and beaten this countless times. This music lives forever rent-free in my head. Like, it's one of the best games ever made. Easily the best one of 88, and should be one of the few obvious picks in this video. Okay, so 89. We're closing out the 80s here. Right off the bat, another good year. This was, Adventures of Lolo, STNX. I don't know if that's actually how you say it. That's how I always said it. I don't know if that's correct. River City Ransom was this year. Minesweeper was 89. But none of those are my game. Mine is, of course, SimCity. I don't have a box to hold up because this was the PC version, not the SNES version, which I do have. I probably could have just held that up. But, yeah, SimCity. I mean, it's SimCity. It's, it's why we have simulation game. Actually, that's not true. I think Utopia came out before SimCity. In fact, I know that's true, because I'm going to tangent now. First one of the video, look at me go. I, not too long ago, last month, met Ale Elkhorn and Don... Oh my god, I've forgotten his last name already. How horrible of me. I just met them and they're gods. Don Daglow, there we go. The two of them are basically the reason video games exist. Yeah, one of them was, the guy that created Pong, was employee number 3 of Atari, and is responsible for hiring Steve Jobs and Wozniak and giving them their first real job in tech. The other created Utopia, like I said, but also Neverwinter Nights. So if you're a fan of God games or simulators, or of like MMORPGs, yeah, he's the reason we have those genres. But I mention that because he created Utopia, which was the first like God and simulation game, which then led to SimCity, which is the game I'm talking about now. And I mean, come on, it's SimCity. We all love this game, This, for me, like, I immediately think of my childhood. In school, we had, in my middle school, so it wasn't the year it came out, it was later on, but we had, our computer room, because children, back in the day, we didn't all have computers in our pockets. We had a special room, only the one room, because we couldn't put them in every class. Don't be silly. And laptops weren't even a thing yet, really. We had just a room with like 30 or so computers that the students could use. And if you were a giant nerd who didn't have a lot of friends and did really good in all the classes and would finish both the classwork and the homework before the period was over, sometimes your teachers would be lenient and would let you go play on the computer instead. Needless to say, I played on the computer a lot, and one of the things I would always play was, of course, SimCity. It was just, I don't know, I think it started my love of cozy games, because unlike all the other games where you're trying to kill things, or beat the clock, or get the high score, or whatever, in these you're just trying to create. It's just sandbox mode, you know? You get to kind of just zone out and just do your own thing. It basically was the start of cozy games. Again, I know Utopia was, but I'm not talking about that right now. For me at least, it was the start of cozy games. I loved it. And, you know, as I played more and grew and got a little older and smarter, I figured out, you know, some of the strategies. When you build your buildings, you do a 3x3 grid and you put like a park in the middle. And that way they all get the bonus of having the park, but the road can touch every building and you don't have to add extra electric wires because they're touching each other, so electricity passes through. It's all that kind of stuff. You know, your strategy gets better, you learn to build a more efficient, better city. It just, yeah, I don't know, man. It was the best. I loved it. I played it so much. And you'll notice that that's the theme here too, is a lot of these games, I'm sure there were better performing games in any of these years, or games that made more money or that other people liked better, but for me it's the ones that I just had the most fun with and the most memories of, and obviously it has to be SimCity. I love this game. Okay, we are in the 90s, and this is a rough year. I realized as I was doing my research for this one, a lot of my favorite games of all time came out this year. Like Super Mario World, Mega Man 3, Star Tropics, Dragon Warrior 4, and Rampart all dropped in 1990. Those are all heavy hitters for me. There's a lot of nostalgia in those games. But, of course, just like all the other years, you know, those are my runners-up. Those are not my game. My game is, and has to be, Dr. Mario. Like I said earlier, this is the reason I collect video games. This is everything. This is what got me into games. If this game didn't exist, wouldn't be having this conversation. I wouldn't even have this room full of games. It wouldn't matter. I won't give you the whole story because it'll just depress everyone, and it's my birthday. But some of the happiest memories of my childhood revolved around this game and involved other people playing this game or me playing this game with those people. It's just, this game was a shining moment in my life when there maybe weren't as many shining moments. And so, you know, just for that alone, that's why I became obsessed. I'm like, oh, this makes people happy. Video games make people happy. I want to have video games. So this started everything for me. But also, it's just a fun game. Like I said before, I love puzzle games. You know, Tetris was my favorite the year I was born. It wasn't my favorite the year I was born. It is now currently my favorite from that year. But also, you know, like I mentioned, Adventures of Lolo, Penguin Land was huge for me. Yeah, I love all those kind of games. I like when you have to think and you have to be logical and there's a puzzle to solve or a challenge or a pattern to pick up on. You know, it's not the same as like a platformer or a first-person shooter or any of that where you just have to have good timing or luck sometimes. There's strategy, and I like that. And yeah, this one just, I don't know, it's very simple, it's very straightforward, there's not much to it. You flip the pill one way or the other, maybe you do it upright, and you just get 4 of a color in a row and make all the viruses disappear. But something about that uncomplicated gameplay makes it more fun, just that it is so simple and kind of repetitive, but there is still challenge because you get more and more viruses, and depending on what level you put it on, the pills drop faster. So there's challenge. You have to have the strategy, but you have to do it quick. And so it lets you zone out while still pushing yourself, and it's just, I don't know, the perfect experience for me. It's just something where I can just turn my mind off while also engaging it and just kind of get into some weird little fugue state and just play this game for hours. It's just great. I love it. Yeah. Okay, 1991. This was the year a couple big franchises got started. Sonic the Hedgehog and Civilization both released for the first time in 91. Also, Lemmings. None of those are the game, though, for me. The one that is my favorite this year, and this should be absolutely obvious to anyone that's seen any video on this channel, or even this video up to this point probably, Legend of Zelda: Link to the Past, of course. It is the best Zelda game. Now I know, like I said, the original Legend of Zelda is a lot of nostalgia for me, and even Zelda 2. As a kid, a lot of my games were like hand-me-downs or games that other people didn't want, or games that we could get cheap at like a yard sale or something. So I played a lot of the weird stuff. You know, I played like Bad Street Brawler and Mighty Final Fight, which is a very expensive game now, but at the time other people didn't really want it, so I ended up with a copy. Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, Wally Bear and the No Gang, you know, pretty much everything the Angry Video Game Nerd has ripped on, I had enjoyed and played the hell out of as a kid. But where was I even going with that? Oh yeah, Zelda 2 was fun. I enjoyed it. But Link to the Past, when that came out, oh, that changed everything. That was it. The music and the graphics, like, before this, the only other Super Nintendo game I had really played was Super Mario World, which was a pretty good upgrade, but, you know, Mario 3 was already kind of pushing it as far as what you could do with the tech. So when I got Super Mario World, it was an upgrade, but not a huge upgrade. And then we had Tetris and Dr. Mario for Super Nintendo, which it's Tetris and it's Dr. Mario. You can only do so much with those concepts. So then when I played Link to the Past, holy shit, this was a whole new animal. You know, it had rain effects, and it had like what sounded like orchestral music. It was just multi-channel meaty, but still, it was leagues above anything else I'd played to that point. I was blown away. And then it took the Zelda formula of a semi-open world and linear, but it feels like it's not gameplay, and just it cranked it up to 11. You know, there are entire weapons in the game that you don't even need to collect. They're all just optional. There's a couple dungeons you could do out of order. I mean, there's one. You can go into the ice dungeon, get halfway through, get the rod, and then leave and do a different dungeon, then come back. But, yeah, man, this game just, it was amazing. It was incredible. I'm not holding up a copy because I have 3 copies of the game. One sealed, one complete in box, and then one import. Actually, there's 2 complete in box. One regular, one player's choice. All 4 of those are in the display case, which I don't feel like digging out right now. But I definitely have the game. And yeah, it just, oh my god, it's the best. This was one, it was funny, I played a bunch of. I would play through the game, I would do all the dungeons, I would explore the whole world and get every optional everything, up to Death Mountain. Death Mountain in the Light World, the Mountain Palace there, because I could not, for the life of me, figure out the puzzle. If you're not familiar, the mechanic in that dungeon is that there are holes that move when you flip a switch. And also, in some of the maps, when you get knocked through a hole, you fall down to the floor below. For whatever reason, as a kid, I just never connected that mechanism would also be part of how to get through the dungeon. And so I would play the game forever, and then I would get to that dungeon, and I explored, I swear to God, every inch of that dungeon, but I never figured it out. It never occurred to me that on this floor you have to move the platform as far down as you can, and then on the floor above you have to jump in the top hole from the top side, and you'll land on that platform. In fact, I never did figure it out. I was living in Arizona at some point, and while I was out there, I was showing the game to a buddy of mine, and his mother solved the puzzle for us. I don't know if she had solved it previously and then he told me what she said, or if she happened to be seeing us playing. It's like, oh, why don't you try this? I don't remember exactly how. I just remember that she was the person that figured it out, and it blew me away, because apparently that's what happens in Zelda games, is if you get stuck, ask your mom, she'll figure it out. But once she solved that puzzle, I'm like, oh my god, that's it! Like, then the whole rest of the game opens up, because after you beat the first 3 levels in the Light Worlds, once you get to the Dark Worlds, there's 7 levels. Or is it 9? No, it's 7. But it's just, there's so much more to the game that I didn't even realize. I didn't know there's a whole another 2/3 of this game that I'd never experienced. So, yeah, I was blown away with the game with just knowing the Light World aspect. And then once she opened it up and there's a whole second game there for me, oh, I didn't even know how to handle that. It was so much game, and it was so amazing to me. And just the music and the gameplay and the exploration, everything about it is perfect. It is still to this day in my top 5 favorite video games of all time. It's just hands down the best. Okay, this is another stat year. This might be one of the ones I've deliberated on the most. Just looking at the list here. Gargoyle's Quest 2, which was a huge NES title for me. Alicia Dragoon, Super Mario Land 2, Steel Empire, Wolfenstein 3D, Soul Blazer, and Great Greed, which is an amazing RPG on the Game Boy. I highly recommend it. Yeah, those are a lot of amazing games. But of course, those aren't my game. I've been giving a lot of love to Nintendo so far, who is one of the worst companies in the industry. They're really shitty lately, and I hate everything they're doing. But I should give some love to the other worst company in the industry, EA, with Desert Strike. No, I know EA is the devil, and owned by Jared Kushner and Saudi royalty, which is just great for gaming. But that doesn't change the fact that they made one of the best games ever with Desert Strike. Oh my god, this game. I haven't played anything like it before or since. I'm sure someone else has tried to make a game with the same gameplay and the same kind of formula, but no, it's just Desert Strike. It's one of a kind, and it's incredible. You fly around with this helicopter, and the controls are a little wonky, and the helicopter's a little floaty, but it's not because the controls are bad, it's because it's semi-realistic, you know. With the forward thrust a helicopter has and the momentum it builds up, when you stop hitting forward, it doesn't immediately stop moving. It's still going to drift forward a little bit and kind of slowly slow down to a stop. It's not just going to immediately stop. That's how it should work, and that's how it does work in here. So on top of having to get used to controlling this, you also have multiple different weapons, and the ammo can run out. I think all of them, except for, I think, your basic gun. And also sometimes you need to rescue people or pick up fuel or new ammo. And to do that, you don't land. You have to basically lower the hook off your chopper, which means you just need to line yourself up with this thing and then lower your hook and hope you snag it without getting blown up. Because while you're flying around in your chopper, there are jeeps and tanks and other vehicles moving around this map that are trying to find and kill you. And you also have different mission objectives. You want to find a secret bunker or base, or you need to rescue all the people from this one facility. Like, there's different things you're trying to do while the entire enemy is trying to kill you. And it's great. Honestly, it reminds me kind of like the top-down-ish view and just kind of like the objectives and the basic gameplay, and I guess we'll call it AI with all just the NPCs moving around. It, to me, feels kind of similar to the original Grand Theft Auto. It's not quite the same, but it feels kind of similar. The vibe is there. You know, if you like that, you would probably really love this too. I'm saying that like people don't know what this is. This thing's an absolute classic. It's been around, well, since '92, so for, what is that, 33 years. You should have played this by now. But if you somehow haven't, definitely do. It's great. And also, this is another one that spawned a franchise. You know, since this, we had Jungle Strike, Urban Strike, Soviet Strike, Nuclear Strike. There's 5 of these, and they're all great. And I keep hoping that EA will stop being a giant piece of shit and will re-release them in like an HD collection for modern consoles. Or, at the very least, you know, give us a collection on the Evercade with just the ROMs. Or sell the franchise to Pico Interactive and let them reprint them. You know, something. Let these games see the light of day again. They've been locked in a vault at EA forever, and I don't know why. Because this game is amazing, the whole franchise is amazing, and I love it. Okay, 1993. This was the year I went back and forth with the most on. I narrowed it down to 3, and then I just stared at the list forever. But, like, right off the bat, just some runners-up. Pyramid Patrol, which no one's played, doesn't mean anything to any of you, but was a huge, just core memory for me. It was a game on the Laser Active. But also Doom, Secret of Mana, Star Fox, Link's Awakening, Jungle Strike, Super Bomberman, and Sonic Spinball all came out this year. That is an insane lineup. Those are all incredible games. I know Jungle Strike and Pyramid Patrol are just for me, but like for gaming in general, Doom and Super Bomberman, like those are massive titles. But no, my favorite of the year is none of those. It's Castle of the Winds. I know Link's Awakening was on the list, and that is a close second to my favorite Zelda game. The music in that game is insanely good. I love what Capcom did with like the side-scrolling sections when you go underground in the dungeons. I think Capcom did that part. Yeah, because they did the Oracle game. Yeah. But yeah, I don't know. I love that game, but Castle of Winds, that was my first, I don't know if you want to call it a roguelike or a mystery dungeon, or if those are the same thing. I don't know. But it was my first of that kind of game, where you have like the randomly generated dungeon, and you explore it piece by piece, and as you explore, the map reveals itself, enemies randomly spawn. It was that kind of game, and yeah, it was so good. I think it was a roguelike. I'm going to go with that. But I played that so much on my PC. To this day, that might be the PC game I have the most hours on. And trust me, that is a huge thing, because I played WoW for close to a decade. But Castle of the Winds, I started and finished so many saves on that game. I couldn't even tell you how many times I've run that game. Just all of them. That's how many times. All of them. I've probably picked up every randomly generated item it could have with every combination of enchantments on it. I played it to death. I loved the idea that every time you played, the maps would be different. This was the first time I had played something that was like the Mystery Dungeon style procedurally generated map. Everything up to that point, every game I've mentioned, every other game I had played that I didn't mention, they were all, hand designed. Every map was drawn and planned and built specifically the way it was built. But in this game, the maps are different every time you play. And it's not because someone created a bunch of different ones. They're all randomly created. Not only that, but on each map, there's hidden doors and secret passageways and just lots of stuff, which again encourages you to explore and try things. Pro players of the game, I know how dumb that sounds, but you learned pretty quick that basically you need to go through the entire map hitting the search button and just follow every wall while searching to see if a secret door was there, because that would take you to like a treasure room or to the stairs to the next floor that, without searching you would just completely miss. There was I don't know, it was such a unique concept to me. It was so novel and so interesting. I think that's why I kept playing as much as I did, because I had never seen a game like that before. Like, usually once you beat a game, that's it. You've played it. You've beaten it. You've seen everything there is to see. You can play it again, but you're doing the same thing. In this, that was not the case. Every time I played, it was an entirely different dungeon. I would find entirely different gear, or new spell books, or just something different from what I had the last time I went through. With how many times I beat it, there was probably an almost equal number of times that I died, because I stumbled into a room that had 6 monsters all spawned in it. Or my favorite go-to spell I never ended up finding in that run. Or the gear I found that I equipped turned out to be cursed instead of enchanted. Like, there was just so much that could be different with every run. It just made it fun to play over and over and over. And so I did. And yeah, I put more time on that than any of the other games this year. As good as they were, I have to give it to this one, because it drew so much of my attention for so long and was such a good game. And now, 1994. Funny thing is, so my game for last year, Castle of the Winds, I remember when I got that game. I actually remember where I got a lot of my games. the only long-term memory I have is related to video games. Anything else in life, memory span of a goldfish. But no, I was at a dollar store with my great aunt, who was basically my second mom growing up. She brought me there, and they had a bin at the exit that had computer games. They were 3.5-inch floppies in the big box, like the big cardboard boxes. The box was like yay big for just a 3.5-inch floppy. But they had a bunch of those, and they were $1 because we were at the dollar store. And so I picked up 2 of them. One was Castle of the Winds. Actually, it was Castle of the Winds 2. I found Castle of the Winds, the first installment, later on. But then the other game I found happens to be my favorite game for this year, and that is Raptor Call of the Shadows. This was a shmup where you're in like a little fighter jet, and you know, it's a vertical scrolling shooter, similar like a Castle Shikigami or Death Smiles or one of those, and you go through and you just shoot all the stuff. But in this one, when you're shooting all the stuff, they don't just drop power-ups to make you stronger in that level. They drop money or credits, I forget which, but basically currency that you use at the end of the level to beef up your ship. You know, you can put more armor on it. You can basically repair damage that was done. You can buy stronger, better weapons. And there's different options, too. So it's not just, hey, I'm leveling up. It's a customization aspect. It's what kind of weapons do I want? Or do I want armor instead of weapons? Because maybe I want to play more defensively. You know, there was that aspect, which was fun. But also, I just love shooters. I love scrolling top-down shooters, to be clear. Or maybe side-scrolling shooters, too. First person, not as much. But scrolling shooters, huge fan. And yeah, I gravitated to this right away. When I found this and I installed it on my old 386, this was just a game that I loved. I don't know that I had played other scrolling shooters by then. I had, oh god, what was it? I don't know, there's a dragon one on NES, and for once my memory of games is failing. So maybe I take back what I said earlier. Maybe my brain doesn't work at all and I have no memory. But yeah, I had played scrolling shooters before, but something about this one just stuck with me even more. It might be the customization, like I said, where I could just level up the way I wanted and get the weapons that I specifically thought would be most helpful or whatever. But this one stuck with me a lot. I played it a bunch. I actually recently, I want to say it was sometime last year, I just got the urge to play it again, and I went and found like a DOS emulator online so that I could install and run and play this game again. Because it's so much fun, and it still holds up, by the way. Like, obviously the graphics on this are the graphics from the early 90s. They're not like what we have now, but they don't look bad, and the game itself is super fun. So yeah, this is definitely one that I think it holds up, and it's just great. Also, I would be remiss if I didn't point out that if people in the comments were going to disagree with my picks, I think this year more than any is when they're going to, because just looking here at what I have written for the runners-up, Donkey Kong Country, Sonic & Knuckles, Killer Instinct, Mega Man X2, which is the best of the X games, Castlevania Bloodlines, and the big one that gets the most hate from people, Super Metroid. So yes, I did put Raptor Call of Shadows above Super Metroid. I don't take it back. I think it's more fun. Alrighty, we are in, what are we in, 95? Wow, time flies. So, decade after I was born now. This is when, you know, games were getting more serious. PC gaming was a bigger thing. Some of the big ones this year for me, you know, Warcraft 2 was massive. You Don't Know Jack. Also on the console side, we had Chrono Trigger. But none of those are it for me. Yoshi's Island, obviously, is the pick. Fun fact, this is the copy as a kid. That's my name written in Sharpie. Quite faded, actually. You can't really tell, but that's the second time it's written in Sharpie. There's another layer, mostly worn off. But yeah, Yoshi's Island. This is another one, easily top 5 for me. This is a perfect game. The controls, the music, the graphics, the gameplay, the difficulty curve, even the unlockables and the bonus stuff. Everything in this game is exactly what I would want it to be. It is perfect. I have no notes. There is no way to improve this game. It is as good as it can be. This is in my top 5 favorite games of all time. It is one of the absolute best. So it had to be my pick for this year. Nothing else was going to get it. If you haven't played it before, A, I don't know what's wrong with you, but B, what are you doing with your life? Go play it. It's an amazing platformer. It just, yeah, like I said, the music, the graphics, everything's incredible. It does a bunch of new stuff in here. I like that your health and like your timer and everything is really tied to Baby Mario on your back. You are a Yoshi, you discover Baby Mario, and you're just getting through all these levels to pass him off to the next Yoshi to eventually bring him back home or whatever. And so, as you're running around and doing this, he's riding on your back, but if you get hit, he falls off. And he starts to float around in a bubble, and Kamek will come to kidnap him if you don't get him before the timer runs out, which is 30 seconds. And the thing is, that timer doesn't automatically refill. You know, when you drop him off your back, let's say you have 30 seconds, if it takes you 10 seconds to get him, now you're at 20, it stays at 20. If you get hit again, you only have those 20 seconds. You can find little stars throughout the level that will refill it, but it doesn't refill on its own. And also, another note is if you want a perfect score on your levels, and you do, you have to have your health full when you finish the level. You need to have all 30 stars or health or whatever you want to call it. In addition to that, there are 5 flowers hidden throughout the level and 20 red coins, and you have to find all of those too. So it has that really cool, like, exploration, unlockable, completionist aspect to it, on top of being just an insanely good platformer. Yeah, this is another one. There's surprisingly not a lot to say, because it is just a platformer. You understand how platformers work, especially Mario games. Like, basically just move to the right without dying. But being a simple concept doesn't mean it's an easy game or a baby game or anything like that. Like, it's insanely top tier. It still holds up. It's one of the best platformers ever made. And just, yeah, I cannot recommend Yoshi's Island enough. This game is incredible. Okay, 1996. I have my phone in my hand because, once again, very stacked year. Jesus. Well, this was the year the 64 came out. So right off the bat, we have Duke Nukem 64, Wave Race 64, Killer Instinct Gold. Plus, on other consoles, you've got Pokemon Red and Blue, Mario RPG, Crash Bandicoot, Nights into Dreams, Kirby Superstar, Shadows of the Empire, Wave Race 64. Did I already say that? I think I did. And Vandal Hearts. That's just so many of my favorite games and so many amazing games all dropped this year. That's insane, especially because I couldn't pick any of those. I had to, obviously, go with Mario 64. With what I said about Mario 3 and Yoshi's Island being some of the best 2D platformers ever made, this is obviously the best 3D platformer ever made. Like, this one is not even one of. That's the end of the question and answer portion. It is this. This is the best 3D platformer. This is the model with which all of the 3D platformers are measured. You know, it could be Banjo-Kazooie or Yooka-Laylee, which are essentially the same thing. I mean, Astrobot, it doesn't matter. They're all being compared to this. This is the mold that they're trying to break. And as good as a lot of those games are, none of them have succeeded because it's fucking Mario 64. Like, we all know and love this game. It's, again, this is one of those games that shows up in the top 10 of every top 100 video game list, always, because it is that good. This is one I don't think anyone would disagree with me on my pick for this year. I'm sure there's going to be a contrarian in the comments, as if I had viewers, that would say, no, I prefer blah blah blah. But no, it's Mario 64, of course it is. I don't even have to explain why. You know how amazing it is. If you've heard the Dire Dire Docks music, that alone would make this the pick for the year. But just the level design and the gameplay and the controls, yes, the camera's a bit annoying, but it was the first time anyone had done this, so, you know, you can forgive it. It's just, yeah, it's so good. It's a perfect game. I don't even know what else to say. There is nothing else to say. This is the game for this year. It's the best one. You just have to agree with me, and we're going to move on. Okay, so this one is part of the reason why I'm not doing gameplay footage for a lot of the games, because I don't even know how I'd find it for this game. But yeah, this was another big year. I've been saying that for pretty much every year because I don't know if you know this about me, I love video games. So every year had more than one that I'm a huge fan of. But this year was no exception. Star Fox 64, which huge for me. I love rail shooters. Pyramid Patrol is the one that got me into the genre, but Star Fox 64 is the reason I really love it. But also Dungeon Keeper, which still one of the best God games ever made. GoldenEye, come on. Turok, Age of Empires, Oddworld, Lego Island for the PC. Like, this was a good year. But there's one game specifically I used to play all the time at a friend's house. I won't use their names because I'm not gonna, you know, it doesn't matter for any of you guys. But I would go to his house and they had a computer in their living room, and he and I, and sometimes his little brother, we would play this game, and it's Magic the Gathering Duels of the Planeswalker. And I know there's a modern version also called Duel of the Planeswalker. That's not this. In fact, let me just call it the other name of what they call the story mode, Chandelar. Chandelar was the most amazing thing. I don't know why no other Magic game has been this since. That's what they should all be. Magic Online or Magic Arena or Battlegrounds or any of those, throw them all in the trash. They're garbage. All we want and need is Chandelar. It was the best game. What it was is you were a wizard in this big open fantasy world, and you would walk around and you would find like treasure chests or little like market dealers or whatever, where you could get more cards to add to your collection. And then occasionally you would come across, you know, some random monster roaming around and you could fight him, and automatically you were playing ante. So if you won the fight, you would get some of the cards from that creature's deck. They'd be randomly selected. You wouldn't know what you're going to get. You're just going to get whatever. But if you lost, they get some of yours. And for those of you out there who play Magic the Gathering nowadays, that's how Magic used to be played. You used to play ante. I remember one of the first times I played the card game, it was against another kid in my school. I'm not going to name his name either. He was in a group of bullies that I didn't always get along with, because I was bullied a lot and they were bullies, so you can understand the dynamic there. But, yeah, for whatever reason, I ended up playing Magic the Gathering with them, and we played ante, and we each had to, you know, shuffle our deck, cut to the middle, pull a card out, set those cards aside, one from my deck, one from his. The winner kept both cards. And I did not win that game, and I did not keep that card. Don't feel bad for me. It was Brass Claw Orcs. Terrible card. Doesn't matter. But my point is, that's how Magic used to be played, and that's how it's played in this game. So if you lose a battle, it's fine. You don't lose the game, but you do lose some of your cards. So it really encourages you to play well and be strategic, because, you know, you're not going to go right to a dungeon where one of, like, the big bosses, because there was a boss for each color. You know, there was, like, the red wizard, green, blue, white, black. You're not going to go straight to their dungeon and try to beat them just because you might get a Sheevan Dragon or a Lord of the Pit from them, because they're going to stomp you with the cards they have. So you need to find these markets or these little monsters or whatever and try to get better cards and build up your own deck. Also, it's going to change how you play. If you were a big fan of red cards, you know, let's say you play with speed, and so you want to just load up on lightning bolts and fireballs and disintegrates, you're going to go to, like, the mountainous, fiery red area and farm out monsters there, because they're going to have red decks, and that's where you're going to get those drops from. But if you're more like a creature hoarder, you know, you want the big, powerful creatures, you want to drop they weren't in the game, but like a Crash of Rhinos or a Rootbreaker worm or something, you're going to go to the forest and you're going to fight all the green bosses. So, much like playing Magic the Gathering for real, there is a lot of strategy, but it was also just so much more fun than just playing the card game because of this open world aspect, and like maybe you find this treasure chest area where you get 100 gold to buy new cards, and also these 2 rare cards, you know. You might come across a Mox Emerald because you found this little oasis in the middle of the desert or something. Like, it was a ton of fun. And we would play it all the time because we all played Magic and we all played against each other. We knew each other's cards and each other's decks. But in this game, you're playing against this computer and just getting random cards, and it was just really fun. And then eventually we learned you could edit the text files that make up the deck lists for the enemies of the game. And so then we could give them the wrong basic lands so that they couldn't play anything. And we could basically say, alright, you have 10 islands and also 50 of the best cards in the game, and then you would just hunt down that monster and kill them over and over, because with the ante, you would constantly be getting, you know, Moxes or Black Lotuses or just all these amazing cards. So yeah, we were cheaters, but it was just a great game. I had so much fun playing it, and like, I still like Magic the Gathering. Not what Hasbro is doing with the game anymore, the 9 sets a year or turning everything into expansion, and just the crossovers are stupid and awful and way too many new sets. Magic sucks now, but Magic back in the day was amazing. I would still play that anytime. And this game is an incredible way to experience that. So yeah, highly recommend it. I don't know how you could find it or play it if you wanted to, but if you do somehow find a way, it is worth it. Do it. It's amazing. Okay, 1998. We are not even halfway there, and I'm already frying my voice, so this is going to be a long, fun video. I'll try to make these quicker, because I know I've rambled a lot already. I think, yeah, I've been shooting for an hour already. That's insane. 98. Another big year. Lots of great stuff. Guardians Crusade, Gauntlet Legends, which is, big core memory again for me. StarCraft, Baldur's Gate, Spyro. But no, the game is obvious. You all know what it is. I don't even need to tell you. It's Ocarina of Time, of course. It's number 1 on a lot of people's best video games lists. Number 1 on most people's Zelda lists because they're wrong or haven't played Link to the Past. But it is an amazing game. This was the first 3D Zelda, and taking Zelda to the 3D space, mind-blowing. Like, as much as I praise the open world exploration aspect of the 2D Zeldas, once you went 3D, and you can do so much more with the world map and the exploration and hiding things and everything. It was a game changer. It was just something entirely different. It was incredible. So yeah, Ocarina of Time is amazing. There is nothing bad about this game. Again, too, I bring up the music for a lot of games, but Zelda's especially, because they really thrive in that department always. The music on Ocarina of Time, I mean, it's the central mechanic of the game, is playing the ocarina. Like, the music actually means something. It's not just background noise, it's story pivotal. But it's also good. And it is like orchestral music. Like, I think they actually recorded real sound bites to put in here. And it's just, yeah, I don't know. There's nothing I'm going to tell you about Ocarina of Time you don't know. You all know what it is. It's one of the best Zeldas. It's one of the best games. It's amazing. Easily the best game of 98, even with all those other really good contenders. Okay, so 99. We are firmly in the era of PC games. I know I've mentioned a bunch already, but this year, Quake 3 Arena was 1999, and that was the only time that I ever got into competitive online first-person shooters. I used to be very high ranked on the world leaderboards in Quake 3 Arena. I played that game obsessively. It clicked for me right away. They were like the character mods, so I could play as Donatello or Spawn or whatever. So I played a lot of that, but that's not my game of the year. Also, Legacy of Kain was this year. Final Fantasy VIII, the best Final Fantasy. I know you all think 7. You're wrong. It's 8. 8 is the best one. It has Gunblades. 7 does not. So by default, 8's the best. But none of those are my game. Roller Coaster Tycoon. That is my game. How do you beat that? I love theme parks. One of my best friends, my best friend, and has been since '98 or close to it. Tyler, he's in so many of these videos. He, I believe, also I said 98, it's 99, not 98. I believe he's the one that introduced me to this. I know he introduced me to The Sims. I want to say he introduced me to RCT as well. But even if he didn't introduce me, maybe I introduced him. Either way, this is a game that both of us loved and played so much. He used to not like roller coasters. I forced him onto one, basically against his will. He then loved it. We've since ridden just so many. But when we discovered this game, it's like, oh, you can design your own coasters, like however you want. You can just lay out these tracks in any way. You can lay out the whole the park in any way you want. Like this is amazing. Again, there is a theme there. I really love like cozy sandbox style games. Like I'll play pretty much any type of game, but if I find a really good cozy game, I'm gonna get addicted. I'm gonna play the hell out of it. Wait till a little later in the list for me to really expand on that. But RCT, man, it was amazing. And I need to tangent again here, so sorry if you hoped this video would be short. It won't. The guy that created this, I don't know if he's a masochist or a genius or just the most devoted game dev ever. He wrote Roller Coaster Tycoon in assembly. For those of you that aren't developers or don't know, assembly does not have a graphical component for writing code. There's no GUI, which is the graphical user interface. There's no drag and drop. Assembly is how NES and Sega Master System and Game Boy, like all the early games were written. And that's what he wrote RCT in. The whole game, by himself. That's insanity. No one was writing PC games in assembly. Not games like that. It's so big, and there's so much stuff, and so many little sprites and graphics that I can't even fathom how much time and effort that took. But, to his credit, RCT runs perfectly on any machine. Still, today, if you put RCT on your machine, it's just gonna run. There are no bugs and flaws, it won't crash, there's no issues, it's just gonna run. He coded it the most complicated way possible, but he made one of the most stable game releases I've ever seen in my life. It's just, from a coding aspect and as a developer, I appreciate the hell out of what he did here. I am dumbfounded. That is a hell of an achievement, but also a hell of a game. It's incredible, it's so much fun. Even if you don't like sandbox games, you would probably like RCT. It's just a hoot. It's so fun creating like the crazy roller coaster of your dreams and then realizing that you're an idiot and it would give them way too many G's and they would just, their heads would explode riding it. And then out of frustration, you start a test with people on it and then delete the second half of the track and launch them all to their doom. Yeah, it's just a lot of fun. It's a great game and I highly recommend it. Okay, we are at the year 2000. This is when stuff gets good. And I say that like all the other games weren't good. It's a lie. They were all amazing. Again, run down some honorable mentions. And honorable mentions are really solid this year too. Perfect Dark, which was another shooter that I actually love. A lot of people preferred GoldenEye. I was Perfect Dark all the way. Diablo 2, The Sims, Baldur's Gate 2, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 2. A lot of 2s this year. Spider-Man, the PlayStation version, which was amazing. No Mercy, which is a wrestling game that is very underrated. It's incredible. You should all play. And Dark Cloud, which, aside from being an amazing game, also can brag about being the reason we have breakable weapons. So, thank you and also fuck you, Dark Cloud. Amazing game, hate that mechanism. None of those are my game of the year. My game of the year is Gauntlet Dark Legacy. That is not nearly as big a game as any of the ones I mentioned. Half of you have probably never heard of or played it, but it's incredible. And to me, it's just nostalgia. This is a game originally I played Gauntlet Legends with my siblings. My brother and sister and I could all play because the 64 would allow up to 4 players. So the 3 of us could play Gauntlet Legends together, and we did all the time. We each had the class that we played as. We each knew our role. I would get all the potions, my brother would get all the keys, my sister would get all the treasure. She could buy the upgrades so that she could get strong really quick and basically tank the enemies for us. My brother could unlock all the doors. I had the potions, I could throw them and kill death whenever we encountered it. We had our team, it was great. But then, on PS2, we got Gauntlet Dark Legacy, which was Gauntlet Legends, but with better graphics and with even more maps. So they took all the maps and worlds you already had and added more to it. And it was amazing. Like, the 64 was cool, because it was, you know, the 3D graphics, but the PS2 had much better graphics and much better performance, and it just ran so much better and looked so much better that it seemed next level to me. Like, it was insane. And so, yeah, we played the hell out of that. We could only do 2-player without getting a multi-tap, so we'd sometimes have to, like, alternate in or out, but we still played this a ton, my siblings and I, and absolutely loved the game. It was super fun for me. I still love the Gauntlet franchise, partially because of the nostalgia of playing with my siblings, but also because every Gauntlet game is just a lot of fun. They're just basically the original dungeon crawlers, and I know it's weird to call them the original anything, because Gauntlet actually ripped off a different game, but to me, Gauntlet was the OG, even if it's not. It's like Oreo versus Hydrox. Gauntlet is my Oreo. I love it. It's great. It's an OG for me. I'm always going to play these games. Okay, 2001. We're getting into the modern era. We're getting into games that everybody's going to know now, especially when I tell you what won this year. But, again, honorable mentions, Final Fantasy X, Halo, Super Smash Bros. Melee, which is the good one, the one with the story mode, Tony Hawk Pro Skater 3, Black and White, which I know a lot of you don't know about or remember, but, oh, that was the game. I'm still bitter that that franchise died off, and I think EA owns it now with, what was that? Was it Lionhead or Bullfrog? I don't remember what company that was, but either way, it's owned by either EA or Microsoft now, and we'll never see it again, but it was so good. Castlevania Circle of the Moon, which was better than Symphony of the Night. Fight me, I don't care, you're wrong, it's better. Also, Oracle of Ages and Seasons, 2 really solid Zelda games. But my game of the year is none of those. It is Grand Theft Auto 3. Come on. If you played the first 2 Grand Theft Autos, they were great. They were a lot of fun. It was a cool concept. I had a blast with them. But when it moved to 3D on the PS2, GTA 3 was just a whole nother beast. It was amazing. It had full voice acting, and like you could really interact with all the different people in the world, and just, yeah, this was the game. I mean, think of how big GTA is now. Think of how many people are already planning to take the day off for GTA 6, and how other games are rescheduling their releases so as to not come out at the same time as GTA 6. That's how big this franchise is. It wasn't that big back then, but it was fucking big. Like, when GTA 3 came out, everyone had to play GTA 3. Everyone was talking about it immediately. And I'm not immune to that shit. I had to try it, and I did, and I loved it just like everybody else. It was an incredible game. I played a ton of it. And then it came out on the PC. I think they both came out at the same time. It's just I played the console version first. But once the PC one came out and I found out there were mods, oh, that was a whole another year or two of playing just to mess with mods. Just to change the graphics, or to change the layout of the city, or to replace all the cars with real cars. Like, yeah, I played so much GTA 3. It's such a good game. Definitely my game of the year. 2002. Apparently I've just given up on retrieving game boxes to show you. I don't know why. I intended to keep doing that. I just forgot and stopped. So here we are. Here. I can reach my game of the year. It's right here. Soul Calibur 2. I'll give you some of the honorable mentions. There's not many this year. The big ones for me would be either Warcraft 3 or Kingdom Hearts. But it's neither of those. It's Soul Calibur 2. Funny story. When the game first came out, I only had a PS2. I didn't have an Xbox or a GameCube. So, if you're not familiar, when Soul Calibur 2 came out, depending on which console you got it on, you got a different bonus character. On the GameCube, you got Link, which was basically just a reskin of Sophia. You just shield and sword fighter. On the Xbox, you got Spawn, which is fucking amazing. On the PS2, you got Heihachi, the old guy from Tekken, the least exciting bonus character ever. Ever. Oh, I'm so disappointed. But still, that doesn't change the fact that Soul Calibur 2 is a top-tier fighting game. I actually fell in love with this franchise because of Soul Calibur 2. Again, I fell in love with it on the PS2 version with the shit character. But yeah, it's a solid game. The fighting is really fluid, and the controls just feel right, and it's very responsive, and it's exactly what you want in a fighting game. It doesn't feel slow or sluggish, but it doesn't feel so rapid that it's frustrating. You know, some games that people really get into, like Marvel vs. Capcom is a perfect example. It's almost too much. Like, it's so fast, and you have to be so pixel perfect in your timing that it's not fun for the average person. You have to be a hardcore player dedicated to just that game to be even remotely good. I have no patience for that. But this hits that perfect amount of speed, where it's not so slow that you're like, okay, this is lame. It's not Primal Rage or Clay Fighter, but it's not Marvel vs. Capcom. It's that sweet spot right in the middle where it's just fast enough, but not too fast, that it's fun for beginners and pros. And yeah, huge fan of Soul Calibur 2 and the whole franchise, but especially this one. Love this game. Alrighty, so 2003. Again, another good year. I hate to keep looking at my phone while I'm talking, but you know, I can't remember all these lists. 2003, we got Guilty Gear X2. I love Guilty Gear. Metal Dungeon, which I know none of you heard of. It was a big game for me. Mario and Luigi Superstar Saga, and Dynasty Warriors 4. Love Muso games. But none of those were Game of the Year, because 2003 was the year we got Dark Cloud 2. Everything I loved about Dark Cloud just cranked up to 11 for the second one. Instead of rebuilding that one town, you had multiple towns to rebuild. And instead of this one dungeon that you were delving into, there were multiple dungeons and multiple playable characters. And yeah, everything about this game was more of what I loved in the first one. It was super fun. It is an incredible RPG. I will forever be mad that we don't have HD remasters of both of these games, but especially the second one. Like, it's so good. If you had a PS2 and you didn't play Dark Cloud, people would probably make fun of you. I would definitely make fun of you. You should. There's no reason to have that console if you're not playing Dark Cloud on it. Like, go play Dark Cloud 1 and 2. But yeah, Dark Cloud 2, definitely the game. I don't even know what to say. It's just so good. You delve in dungeons, you find parts of the city, and then you rebuild the city however you want. There is an optimal way to do it, but you don't have to. You can do whatever the hell you want. You can put neighbors next to each other that hate each other. It's fine. You're in control. It's just a really good, solid game. It's a lot of fun. I absolutely love it. Okay, 2004. I am glad I'm not recording game footage for this one, because you would see me embarrass myself as a 40-year-old man. But what I will do is put on the screen a picture of College Dean and embarrass myself that way. Because my pick of the year, Burnout 3, World of Warcraft, Katamari Damacy, Fable, and Need for Speed Underground 2, all amazing, but it's none of those. It's DDR Extreme. I have quite a relationship with DDR. When I was in college, I somehow became a social butterfly and actually developed friends. It's this weird thing that you can do where you just talk to people without inhibitions. Like, you just approach people and then talk to them and just banter and say friendly things, and then they want to spend time around you. And I don't know what happened, but somewhere in college I learned this ability that I've since forgotten. And just everyone liked me. It was, I don't know, it was a weird thing. But I went into our college's lounge area, like the break room essentially, and I just decided I was going to be friends with everyone in that room. And somehow I just forced that into being. So in a room of about 30 plus people, you know what, I'll put a picture of that too. Why the hell not? I'll dox all my college friends. No, I won't. I'm not going to put the picture up. I'm sorry, I can't do that to them. Some of them I respect too much to do that, and other ones I absolutely hate and don't want to put their face in my channel. But either way, I was friends with a ton of people in college, and to bring that back to DDR, I was in the habit of bringing in my consoles each day. I would bring in a different one, and I'd hook it up to the TV in the lounge, and we just play video games. Eventually, it got to the point where none of us were even going to classes. We were just hanging out for 8 hours a day to play video games with each other. But then, one of the other guys is like, oh, let me bring in a game tomorrow. And then he brought in the PS2 and DDR Extreme, and that changed my life. I had never played a rhythm game up to that point. I certainly had never played DDR. I didn't even know what it was. And then he showed me how to play. And to say that I got hooked would be like saying that a junkie taking heroin enjoyed it a little bit. Like, I was obsessed with DDR at that point. I needed to play the game. I immediately went out and bought my own copy and a bunch of those pads that always break and die. And I played religiously. Like, I remember the first day I got my own copy, I went home, and I started on the lowest difficulty level on the slowest song, because you could sort by BPM. I played through the whole roster of songs. And I repeated that for the first 3 difficulty levels. I played every song 3 times in a row without a break the first day I got the game. I became so obsessed so fast. And at least once a week, we would bring in DDR and we would play it. And like everyone in the room would have a go. Again, I put up the picture of me playing it. I was not the only one. Everyone in there was doing it. But it got to the point with me where I started doing DDR tournaments. I would go to arcades, and if they had a DDR machine, immediately I was on it. I was that kid. And yeah, I was obsessed with this game. So it would be ridiculous to pick any other game. As big as the other ones were, like World of Warcraft, I played for a decade, but DDR, I was so hooked so immediately, and was one of the catalysts to me making friends for the first and only time in my life. So just, yeah, it has to be the game of the year for me. DDR is amazing. Okay, so, 2005. This is probably going to be another one that a lot of people disagree with, but again, don't care. So I'll go through the honorable mentions. Soul Calibur 3, Civ 4, Burnout Revenge, Kingdom Hearts 2, Jade Empire, Midnight Club 3 Dub Edition, which, top tier racing game, and Guitar Hero. Those are all really big, solid games with fan bases. But my game is one that actually is a meme to most people, and that's Devil May Cry 3. Now, a lot of people always pick on, with Dante from Devil May Cry. I love DMC 3. I had not played DMC 1 or 2. 3 was my introduction to the franchise. But I got this game knowing that it was a third to a franchise. I didn't care. It just looked really cool. I got the game, played the game. I beat it in a weekend. Like, I could not put the game down. I had 2 buddies in college that I would play games with. We used to, we would go out to like a game store once or twice a week. We'd just get a handful of really cheap cart games. Because back then, you could do that. You could get an NES or Super Nintendo or Genesis game for like $1. We'd get like a handful of ones because the cover art looked interesting or the name sounded cool. And then we'd go to my house and play them. Well, one weekend, I got Devil May Cry 3. And they came over, and we played it. And we got really far. We'd each take turns. If one person died, the next person would go. We got pretty far through the game. And then eventually they went home. And the rest of the weekend, I finished the game off because I'm like, I need to keep playing. I need to see what happens. I love this game. I love the story. I love the action. I want the whole thing. And I did. I finished the game. I went through the whole thing in a weekend. It was great. I loved it. It was so much fun. I loved the way the action was like non-stop and how you had to like combo and chain your kills with your enemies. Very similar to what a lot of people like about the Batman Arkham games. How you're not just punching enemies forever. You're trying to chain them in a way that you keep your combo up. It was the same thing in Devil May Cry. If you get hit in between hitting the enemies, it kills your combo. So you can't just spam the attack button. You have to also dodge things, like move around and be more strategic. And I just really liked that. It resonated with me. Plus the whole vibe of it, being like gothy and emo almost, with all like the devils and demons and gargoyles and whatever else. Like, yeah, it was just It fit my vibe. It was really cool action. It was exactly what I wanted, especially as just the gothy emo college me. This was the perfect game that year. Alrighty, 2006. Um, Runners up real quick. We had Twilight Princess, which was the last really good Zelda. Final Fantasy 12, which is in my top three, right behind 8, 10, 12. That's the order. Not 7, 8, 10, 12. Also, Guitar Hero 2, Oblivion, and Prey all came out this year. All great games. None of those are my favorite. That is Marvel Ultimate Alliance. Marvel Ultimate Alliance was a beat 'em up with all the Marvel games. It was an original. It was a story adapted, but you could play through it with any combination of Marvel characters that you wanted. And certain ones had different bonuses too. So, like, if you wanted to play as, I don't remember the roster offhand, but let's say you decided, oh, the 4 characters I'm going to use are going to be the Defenders. So you're going to play as Daredevil, Luke Cage, Iron Fist, and Jessica Jones. And you would get, like, a boost to the strength of your whole group because they're the Defenders. Or maybe you decided, oh, I'm not going to do that. I'm going to play as people that once led the X-Men. And so, you play as Cyclops, Storm, Wolverine, and Jean Grey, or Professor X, or whatever. And so you get, like, a bonus to your speed or something. There were tactical bonuses to whatever team layout you had. Or you could just get your favorite characters. Like, whatever you wanted to do. But basically, you play through the storyline that they have set up with whatever characters you decide are your favorites and that you want to play as. And you have to go through the levels. Like I said, it's a beat 'em up. And just, complete the story and beat the levels. But different characters have different abilities, too. So, like, there's some that can fly or hover, or other ones that can, like, fix things, like if you're playing as, say, Forge. Some of them have ranged attacks versus melee attacks. So, depending on what characters you had, your playthrough was very different. And I just loved it because I was a comic nerd. I loved a lot of the Marvel comics as a kid. I didn't have that many comics, but I had enough to know who the characters were. And then, of course, I watched all the cartoons. Like, I love the X-Men cartoon and, like, the early Spider-Man cartoons and all that stuff. I had friends that had comic books, so I'd look at theirs, and I knew who all the heroes were. And, yeah, I thought the game was a lot of fun, because I got to see... It wasn't just like the Spider-Man game where you're playing as Spider-Man. This was, you're playing as just, you have all the characters that you can play as. Like, I remember it having a huge roster. I'm sure if I go back now, a lot of that is nostalgia. I'm sure the roster wasn't as big as my brain and faulty memories are telling me it was. But at the time, I thought it was incredible that I have all these characters and could play as any combination of them. How cool is that? Yeah, I just thought it was a lot of fun. It was a cool game. And I think it was one of the first ones that I got every achievement for. I don't know if it was the first, but it was one of them. It was early on where I just decided I'm going to get every achievement for this game, and I did, because I really loved that game. Alright, 2007. I was 22 at this point. So, I'm an adult now. I have adult money. I can buy real games. I can do whatever I want. And there were a lot of big ones this year. Crackdown, Portal, Assassin's Creed, Mario Galaxy, Guitar Hero 3, and Kingdom Under Fire, Circle of Doom, which, I know you don't care. I love that game. But no, speaking of adult money, the game I got this year, and the one that is my favorite, is Rock Band. DDR Extreme introduced me to rhythm games. Rock Band fucking sold me. I got that game, and I was hooked forever. Not only did I get Rock Band, but then every time they put out new DLC, I got all of it. Just all of it. Every single DLC song I bought and downloaded. I'm like, I want to add songs indefinitely forever. I want to have infinity songs. I'm a big music person. I love music. In college, one of my friends worked at the college radio station, and so I would sit in with him and help DJ a lot of times. I also was dating the head cheerleader. I don't know how that happened either. Don't question it. And so I would create a lot of the mixes for our cheerleading squad and like DJ for them. And then there were some times where I got hired just to like DJ a house party for someone. So I was always tuned into music, and I had to like be familiar with different kinds of music and different genres because, I had to use it for different things. And then I just also love music. So Rock Band for me, like, it was the best thing. It was that cool rhythm game, the timing that I love, but also it was all real world music. It was the classic rock that I grew up on, but then a lot of like modern stuff too, like some pop music and modern rock, and just, yeah, it was amazing. Plus, it wasn't like Guitar Hero. You just play the guitar, like you could do the bass or the drums or the vocals. You could sing. I was in chorus for like 8 years. I was part of a barbershop quartet. I love singing. So being able to sing in Rock Band, oh my god, this is the best game. And yeah, I would have like Rock Band parties with friends all the time. And I still do, usually at least once a year. The film crew I work with, whenever we wrap on a film, or if we do like our Valentine's Day party where we all get together, I bring Rock Band and we all spend the whole night doing what's essentially bad drunk karaoke. Yeah, I love Rock Band. It was a game that hooked me immediately and that I played just so much of. And I still love it to this day. If Rock Band 5 comes out tomorrow, I will be in the store buying it tomorrow with new instruments and new everything and playing the hell out of it. I absolutely love this franchise. Alrighty, so 2008. Rock Band 2 came out this year. Also, Mirror's Edge and Fable 2. Now you know how I feel about Rock Band, because I just told you. Rock Band 2 didn't make the top. I'm sorry, but Super Smash Bros. Brawl. Now I said earlier that Melee was the one with the good story mode, and it's true, it was good and it had a story mode, but the real one, and the reason this one wins the year, is the Subspace Emissary in Smash Bros. Brawl. Hands down the best thing ever. And I know the game creator is a pouty little bitch and decided that he would not do story modes anymore because too many people were posting the cutscenes from Subspace Emissary on YouTube, and other folks were just watching those videos instead of playing through and experiencing the game themselves. And for some reason he has a problem with how people play the game that they already gave him money to play. I don't know what his problem is. Again, he's just a little bitch. But that story mode in that game was the best thing ever. And that was the best Smash Brothers because of it. Like, honestly, there were other ones since then. There was Smash Brothers 4 and Ultimate, which had bigger rosters, better graphics, whatever else. Doesn't matter. Brawl's the best one because of Subspace Emissary. It took a game that's just like a competitive multiplayer fighting game and gave it a really solid story mode that made it a good solo player game as well. That's the problem with a lot of these multiplayer games, is that they're designed only for the multiplayer. There's no solo player campaigns. There's no consideration for half the gamers out there who just want to sit and play a game on their own. Brawl was the answer to that. You could do competitive multiplayer, of course. You could, play with your friends. You could even go online on the Wii eventually. But, I mean, the appeal for someone like me who does not do online multiplayer, I could sit down and play through that story mode, and that's fucking incredible. Plus, that's how you unlock all the characters, and I love a game that has progression-based unlocks. So, yeah, everything about this game made it easily the best Smash Brothers for me, and also probably the best game of that year. I played a ton of it. I thought it was a blast. I played through the story mode, I think at least 3 times. And then, when I finally stopped doing that, it was just a fun game to play with my friends, or just to play against the computer. Like, I just thought it was a blast. It was a really good game. Definitely my favorite of the year. Alright, we're up to 2009. We're finishing up the aughts. And I don't know why I thought I should do this whole video in one go. That was a poor decision. But, show must go on. Marvel Ultimate Alliance 2 came out this year. Assassin's Creed 2. New Super Mario Bros. Wii, and Borderlands. All really good titles. But it's Dragon Age Origins, of course it is. Come on. I love RPGs. I love fantasy settings. I love dragons. This has dragon right in the title. Yeah, Dragon Age Origins was just an incredible game. Now I know it's an early BioWare RPG, which means all the characters have BioWare face. And they, a lot of the dialogue choices come across awkward, and it's just definitely some really weird voice acting, but it doesn't matter. I love the game. it just, I don't know. It was really fun for me. I think it was the first RPG. Like, I've played Fable and I've played all those other games, but this felt like the first time that your choices really mattered. Like, I know that was the whole selling point for Fable, was, you know, your choices decide if you're good or evil and will change everything, whatever. And obviously, like, Oblivion and all that, but I don't know. It really clicked for me in this game, because, like, which factions the enemy at the end of the game, like, which factions you use to face off against him with, depends on the choices you make and who you align yourself with and what you do in the game. So, it felt like the choices mattered a lot more here than in other games. And I say that knowing that which faction you have at the end doesn't matter. They're all going to die off anyway, and you're going to have to do it yourself. But it felt really cool to have, like, the choice system and to see the game progress differently depending on what I did. And I liked a lot of the characters. I don't care how awkward their voice acting was. It was just a really good, solid RPG that I was a big fan of. Alright, 2010. Honestly, this was a really easy one for me. The only things I would maybe consider runners-up would be, like, Fable 3, or Pokemon Black and White. But even then, neither of those come close. It's Rock Band 3. Rock Band was amazing. Rock Band 2 expanded the game even more. But Rock Band 3 just... that one, I feel like it really took off. Like, at that point, we're getting weekly DLC, and we're getting, like, every genre of music is recognized. And then we started getting, like, they were doing the Xbox network stuff where, like, people could submit, like, bands could go in and could submit their own songs. So we were getting stuff from, like, underground bands, like a Psycho Stick put a couple of their songs in there, and, like, Soilwork, Trust Company, like, all these bands that you wouldn't normally hear of or think about were putting their stuff in the game. And that's on top of the official releases. It was the best. I forgot how words worked for a second, but yeah, it was all the music and the rhythm gameplay, but even better because they had done multiple iterations at that point and really worked out the bugs and figured out exactly what people liked. It was incredible. It was amazing. I played so much. I played every song. I bought all of them. Yeah, absolutely loved it. This, I think, was the height of my Rock Band parties, too. Like, I was, at least once a month, I was getting a bunch of friends together, and we just all night rocking out to every song, going through whatever new ones I added in the previous weeks or months, and just, yeah, it was a blast. I loved it. I still love it. And I really want Rock Band 5. Like, this franchise needs to come back and just explode some more, because, God, it's good. Okay, 2011. I'm not even going to pretend there are other games that were close. It's Skyrim. Of course it's Skyrim. It's the biggest and best RPG ever released. It's Skyrim. The game of the year. Yeah, no one's going to disagree with me with this year. This is the year I am more confident than anything. What are you going to say? Oh, Skyward Sword fuck Skyward Sword. I love Zelda, but no. Skyward Sword is not touching Skyrim. Or, like, I don't know, Woody Valens came out that year. Test Drive Unlimited 2 came out that year. Nobody cared about any other game that dropped in 2011. It was Skyrim. It is the best game. It's been reprinted and re-released and remastered a million times. There's still people releasing new mods for it today. Like, it is literally the biggest and best RPG ever made. It's Skyrim. Had to be the game of the year. I still play it. I got Tyler obsessed with it, and he doesn't even like RPGs. So, yeah, it's the best. It was the only option for this year. I had to go with this game, and I'm glad I did, because it's an amazing game. Like, even if there were competitors, I wouldn't pick them. It would have to be Skyrim. It's so good. 2012. Now, I haven't had a lot of tangents for some of these years. I haven't had as much to say or been as excited because, you know, I don't have as much nostalgia for modern games for a lot of them, just because, you know, the games from your childhood are the games from your childhood. You're always going to have more attachment to those because you're rose-colored nostalgia goggles. But, that being said, 2012, there's Trials Evolution, Borderlands 2, Torchlight 2, New Super Mario Bros. U. Those are all fine, but Dust and Elysian Tale came out that year. Now, I've talked about it before on this channel. I reviewed it. I even took footage of me getting a tattoo of the main characters from this game on this channel. I love this game. This is another game in my top 5 best games ever list. it was funny. For the longest time, I slept on this game. I did not play it in 2022. I don't think I played it until years later. But a friend of mine, who I mostly knew from the internet, was coming up to my state to visit me for the very first time in our lives. And, you know, came up, visited, and we decided we'd play a game. I ended up playing. They just watched. But, I'm like, you know what? Here's a game I have. I haven't really tried, but it looks like it'd be fun. It's got a cute little character on it. Whatever, let's do this one. And so I put in Dust and Elysian Tale, and I think we spent my friend's entire visit just playing that game. Like, we both were just completely enamored with the story and the character design and the visuals and the voice acting and just everything. We were just blown away. Absolutely loved it. It is a Metroidvania, which I love anyway, but really just the humor in this one and the voice acting and the story, it's just... oh my god, I was hooked. It's so good. And my friend loved it just as much as me. Didn't finish the game while they were here, but I actually finished it the next day and then had to like take pictures of the game over screen and what was happening as I was doing, so I could like email them and like tell them what happened, because they were excited about the game too, and like we both just were really hooked. And yeah. Oh, super, super love this game. Like I said, it's in my top 5 favorite games ever. I highly recommend it to anyone. Whenever someone wants to play a Metroidvania, or even just a game in general, this is one of the first ones I recommend. It's one of my favorites. It's so good. Easily the best game that year. Like, I don't even care about anything else. Definitely this one. It has to be Dust and Elysian Tale. It's so, so good. And if the creator out there, who's also named Dean, by the way, if you ever make a sequel, I'll do the voice acting for free. I know my voice is fried right now, but I have acting experience, I have access to professional equipment, and I won't charge. Just let me be a voice in your game. Please. Okay, 2013. Now this one, as weird as it's to say, I think it's Philip DeFranco's fault. Because if I'm not mistaken, he played this game in like a brief little stint on his channel where he was doing like some extra stuff on top of his news things, where he was like playing, not even streaming games, just playing games and letting people watch him play them afterward. And the one he played was the Stanley Parable. And I'm a big fan of British humor. I love dry humor. I love sarcasm. That's my bag. I love it. And so this game, just watching him play through and seeing all the snark and watching him try to be clever and play the game in a way that you're not supposed to, like, oh, I'm going to ignore the narrator and go this way, or, oh, this looks like a secret path. What if I ignore the narrator and ignore the obvious thing and instead do this weird third thing? And then the narrator had something to say about that, too. Like, just, oh, the foresight that had to go into programming, narrating all that, and just the snarkiness of it, I loved. I could not believe that was a game that existed. I had to play it, and I immediately went and found and bought and played it myself. And I've gone through, I don't even know how many endings. I loved it. Everything about it is 100% something that speaks to me. Like, that level of just wit and sarcasm and the ridiculous amount of planning it takes to figure out like every eventuality and every annoying thing that a player might do, and then planning for that. Like, what if they want to stand in a closet for an hour? Okay, there's an ending for that. Like, that's insane that they planned that and narrated it. Like, it's nuts. The amount of planning that went into this is so impressive to me, and the sarcasm and the wit that just sells it and makes it enjoyable to just die over and over. Because really, that's the thing, is you don't win the game. You just find multiple different ways to die, and they're great. I love it. I love all the endings. I love the humor. I love everything about this game. Easily my game of the year. It doesn't even matter what the runners-up are. It's just Stanley Parable. Okay. This is a weird one. 2014, Mario Kart 8 came out this year. Also Forza Horizon 2 and Divinity Original Sin, but it doesn't matter. Mario Kart 8, obviously, is the game I play with Tyler a lot. We still, even though Mario Kart World and Sonic Crossworlds exist, still Mario Kart 8. But that can't be my game of the year because another of my top 5 favorite games of all time came out that year, and that's Hyrule Warriors. Like I said earlier, I love Musou games. I am just a huge fan. Everything about it is just really fun. I don't know, when you get older, you don't want games to be as challenging, or maybe you do, maybe it's just me. I know some people still like Bloodborne or whatever, so maybe, you know, the Souls-like crowd wants games to get harder. But when I got older, I became a little more impatient and less forgiving of things that just frustrated me. I don't want my games to annoy me. I just want to sweep them, basically. I want to go in and be OP from the beginning and destroy everything and feel good about it. And so Musou games let me live out that fantasy. It's, you know, a 1 versus 100 the whole time. You just come through and just wipe out hordes of enemies without even trying. That appeals to me massively. But what makes it even better is Hyrule Warriors is that Musou gameplay, but with all the Zelda characters. And with a brand new storyline and a couple new characters, plus just so many characters and weapons and outfits and levels based on all the old games, I'm just like, okay, so it's the gameplay I love, and all the Zelda lore that I also love, so you took 2 great things and combined them to make them even better. It's like combining chocolate and peanut butter to make a Reese's cup. It's just, yeah, it was perfect. It's everything I wanted. And then we got the really shitty Age of spin-off, which is crap, because it's not Hyrule Warriors 2, it's Breath of the Wild 1.5. And I don't want that, I want Hyrule Warriors 2. And now we have another Age of game coming, and I still don't want that crap, I just want Hyrule Warriors 2, which doesn't matter, I'm not giving Nintendo my money anymore anyway. But, my point is, Hyrule Warriors, amazing. Top tier, 10 out of 10, love that game so much. I have played like a bajillion hours in it because I want to unlock every character, costume, and weapon, and get them all to 255, and get the gold medal on every single level in the adventure maps, and get all of the fairies and the Skulltulas and just everything. And to do everything in that game just takes forever. You have to play so much. And I do, and I don't complain about it because I love it, and I will play this game forever. So yeah, Hyrule Warriors, easily the game of the year. It's super, super fun. You should all be playing it. I love it so much. Okay, 2015. For me, there's only one runner-up, and that would be Mario Maker. But that's not my game. My game is going to be Just Cause 3. I know this is going to sound weird, but I really like the Just Cause games. It's like a first-person action, or third-person rather, a third-person action shooter game, but with like an open sandbox world. And the story and the gameplay are just very preposterous. Like, they just let you do ridiculous things. And I kind of love that. Like I said, I want games that'll let me just breeze through at this point in my life. I'm not looking to be very challenged and annoyed, and just, I don't want to die over and over and over and get frustrated. I want a game to just, you know, I just want escapism at this point. I just want ridiculous fun. And ridiculous fun are the 2 words that best describe the Just Cause franchise. Like, you're trying to, you know, overthrow a rebellion on whatever island country, but you get to spawn in, basically in limited amounts, of insane guns and tanks and fighter jets and whatever you want to do it. You know, this is a franchise, they give you like jetpacks and just rocket launchers and just basically anything you want. I'm surprised they don't give you mech suits yet. Like, you can just do crazy things in these games, and I love that. Like, I'll still play through the story mode, but instead of, you know, trying to be stealthy and like sneak up behind people and take out guards one at a time with a silenced pistol or something, I'll get half a mile away with a rocket launcher and just blow up a whole ass base and be like, oh, I won! It's a lot of fun. It's ridiculous and over the top and stupid, and that's why I love it. So yeah, Just Cause 3, definitely game of the year. Okay, 2016. We are in the last 10 years. Yeah. I'm 31 at this point. So, No Man's Sky. It has to be. Come on. I did a video the day it came out, because I pre-ordered, I got it, released it, and I filmed myself getting a first reaction of the game with Tyler. because he loves sci-fi and sandbox games. So this seemed like a perfect thing, and I'm playing it, and now I found out later on a lot of other people were really disappointed in the game when it launched. I loved it right away. I thought it was a lot of fun. I thought it was really cool to just explore this procedurally generated planet, and you know, to not know what was going on right away and to have to try to figure things out and learn the mechanics of the game and like learn what each resource did and what it was used for and what I could craft with it, and then, you know, fixing up my spaceship and going to outer space, and all of a sudden there's a galaxy, there's multiple planets, and then what's more, when you get the right boost and you can go and explore the whole universe and just a nearly infinite number of galaxies. And then there's other universes, like it expands forever. And so I was blown away. I thought the game was amazing right from day one. But in the years since, there's been multiple free updates, and by multiple I mean dozens. And the game is so much more now. You can build bases, you can build custom spaceships, you can get giant like I don't know, freighters, space dreadnoughts that all your ships can land on. You can have a whole fleet of ships that you switched behind, and they're all on this thing that you can also build a base on. And you can become a space outlaw now and do piracy missions, and there's abandoned freighters that, you know, have like evil little bug creatures on them that'll kill you, and just there's so much more in the game now. They've expanded it so much that everything I loved about the game is still there. They just added a million more things to love. It's basically the ultimate sandbox game because there's a million things for you to do, and like, because it's procedurally generated and because everything is unique, there's always a reason to keep doing it. And I know some people say, you know, oh well, this game feels like, you know, it's a mile wide but an inch deep or whatever. I don't know if that's the case. Like, yeah, some of the creatures are similar to other creatures you've seen before. Some of the plants on the planets, you know, looks the same as other plants you've seen. That's fine, but I don't know. It's still fun seeing the new things, and then you get all the quests to like take pictures of planets with certain, you know, atmosphere types, or catch certain types of fish, or find a creature that matches these descriptions, or kill this many sentinels, or do whatever. Like, there's so many little things you can keep doing. They're just fun to do. And again, there's no end goal. It's just a sandbox game. You just play forever. But I think that's what I like, is that this is one you can get on and just give yourself a couple little micro goals. Like, okay, I've only got 20 minutes. I'm going to get on and just, you know, I'll finish a mission real quick. I'll go and I'll find the sentinels that I need to kill and complete this mission. Granted, that never works. You end up playing for 7 hours, but that's the intent, and I love it for that. I think it's a great game. I think it was great when it came out. I think it's become even greater the years since, and it amazes me that the team is still working on it and still releasing free updates. Easily the game of the year, and just deserves every accolade because it's so damn good. 2017. If Tyler was here right now, I'd have him pop up and tell you the name of the game, because it is, of course, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Yeah, I cheated. I know Mario Kart 8 released that other year, but no, Mario Kart 8 Deluxe released this year, and this is the one I want to talk about, because it took everything from the other game, all the racetracks, all the characters, all the DLC stuff that we had. It fixed the battle mode by giving us actual battle maps instead of a portion of a track, which was bullshit when it happened. And then it gave us a season pass that doubled the content of the game again by giving us another 48 tracks. That is insane. I cannot believe how much content there is in Mario Kart 8 Deluxe. Also, as far as Kart Racer goes, this is the best one. Like, it's just, nothing else has controls that feel so tight and snappy and just perfect. You know, the feedback you get of when you like jump and start a drift, it just feels right. And the anti-grav sections and the way some of the tracks like curve and flip, it just, I don't know, everything feels very satisfying. It feels very right. It's just exactly what you want in a kart racer. Like, I would take Mario Kart 8 over any kart racer ever. If Nintendo weren't the worst company, and if they actually cared about their fans and wanted to make money, because if you do one, the other follows, we would never have got Worlds. We would have just got another season pass for 8, because 8 is already doing everything that we want. It has the best controls. It has graphics that are more than good. It already had an amazing roster and an insane amount of tracks. Like, just more of that. It's what we wanted. It's what we needed. It's the best already. Let it keep being the best. Yeah, easily the game of the year. It's just the best kart racer. It's so much fun. Still play it with Tyler all the time. It's the best for multiplayer. Just, it's so good. 2018. This is another easy one. Assassin's Creed Odyssey. I'm a big nerd for ancient mythology and fairy tales and folklore. I love Egyptian mythology and also Greek mythology. I'm a big fan. I don't know, it always fascinated me. And so, in open world RPG style Assassin's Creed draws me in already. Like, that's already a cool concept. But to put on top of it, it's set in ancient Greece, and it even works in, like, the myth of the Minotaur, Cyclops, and all of that. It has a Testicles joke. Like, come on. This was basically custom tailored for me. Plus, depending on, like, how you play and what skills you go for and whatnot, you basically can do the whole game on easy mode, where you can throw your knife at someone and then teleport to the knife when it hits them, kill them instantly, and then be there now. Basically, if you do things right, every battle is just one-hit KOs. And that's what I want. I want easy mode. I just want to enjoy the story, and in this game, I really, really did. So, yeah, for me, this was the perfect Assassin's Creed. All the other ones before it were fine, but not as good, and the ones after it, also not as good. Odyssey is just, it's top tier. It's the best Assassin's Creed, and the best game of this year. It's perfect. I love the setting, like I said. The graphics and the gameplay all feel and look really, really good. The story and the writing is just awesome. And the voice acting, because I played as Cassandra, because I'm not an idiot or a bigot. And even, Ubisoft has said, in canon, Cassandra is the main character from that game. Like, you could pick the other guy if you want, but you're doing it wrong. Cassandra is the protagonist. And yeah, just her voice actor was so good. I felt like she really, all her lines were delivered well, and I really loved the game for it. And just everything about this was so much fun for me. I loved seeing ancient Greece and the various historical aspects and people and buildings. And then, of course, they had their unique twist and everything too, because it is still Assassin's Creed. But yeah, it was a lot of fun. This is one of the first games I 100%ed. I don't just mean achievements. I mean, I completed every main quest, every side quest. I got every collectible. I 100%ed the game. If there was something to do, I did do it. It is all done now. I have done every single thing in that game. I couldn't get enough. I wanted to do literally everything. I wanted to experience every single aspect of the game, and I did, and I don't regret it. It was incredible. Okay, so 2019 is where we round out my top 5 video games of all time list. But first, I'll do some runners-up, which I've been skipping a lot. But Planet Zoo came out this year, Mario Maker 2, Kingdom Hearts 3, Borderlands 3, Pokemon Sword and Shield, and a phone app that I have spent an embarrassing amount of time on, Shop Titans, all came out this year. None of those are my top. It's Dragon Audit. On my channel, I played through the entirety of the game Dragon Audit. Whole game. I not streamed, because I don't stream things, but I did a full playthrough where I played it and you can see my reaction, blah, blah, blah. It is the most me game to ever be created. First of all, it has a dragon. Love those. Also, it's a walking simulator, so not super challenging. You can't really lose, so great. And then it's the humor in this game, I think, is what sells me on it. Like, I like just a walk around and solve puzzles as you find them kind of thing, and just have some fun dialogue. So, like, the gameplay was my style anyway. Like, I was already gonna love it, but just, if you watch me playing through for the first time and doing my live playthrough, it's just So many times I would make an off-head comment or a joke or an observation about the game, and then the game would basically say the exact same thing a second later. Multiple times that happens. Like, whoever wrote this game has my exact same sense of humor and my same brain, and I love it for that. Like, I don't know, this game really feels like it was made for me. It's everything that I love. It's my sense of humor. It's got the fun dragon. It's got a cute little love story at the end. It's like, I guess maybe you could say it's fur bait, but I don't care. I think the character's designed well. I think it's fun, so whatever. If furries enjoy it a little too much, hey, you know what? Good for them. But yeah, I don't know. It's so much fun. It's very short. The graphics aren't, top tier by today's standards or even that day's standards. Like, it is what it is, but that doesn't matter to me. It's a really fun story, a really fun experience with some really clever jokes. I enjoy the hell out of it. I have played through it multiple times since because every once in a while I just want to experience the story again. And there's certain things that still make me laugh when I see them. So, yeah. Like I said, it's one of my top 5 favorite games ever, just because it is such a fun and funny experience. And easily my game of the year. I highly recommend it. It's a great game. Shout out to the folks that made this. Seriously, they nailed it. It's so good. Okay, we have reached the hell portion of human history. 2020. That year that we all remember fondly because of all the wonderful things that happened. Anyway, my game of the year is, of course, the only game that came out that year, basically, Animal Crossing. I know it's not the only game that came out that year. I know other games came out that year. Genshin Impact came out that year. But it doesn't matter. We were all living through hell. We all wanted something cute and comfortable to distract us from, So, it was Animal Crossing. Specifically Animal Crossing New Horizons. Yeah, I played it, you played it, every single person in the entire world played it. It's the reason any of us survived, honestly. Would the game have done as well or be as nostalgic or well thought of if the world wasn't crumbling around us when it came out? I don't know. Did Nintendo cause COVID just to sell copies of this game? I don't know. But the way things worked out, the game did really well. We all played it and really enjoyed it, Elijah Wood might have visited your island just so he could get the fruit trees that you had. Like, you don't know. But no, seriously, it was a fun game. Like I said before multiple times, I love cozy games. They're just fun for me. This one is a blast. After a while, you do run out of things to do. For some people, that's fine. Some people will just do the sandbox aspect and just redesign their island, redesign their house, redesign their character, and that's great. I understand that some people, that is enough, and that's cool for them. I'm glad that they love that, because the game gets to keep going, and that's fine with me. I couldn't keep going. I got to the point where I did everything, but it was still my favorite game of the year, because until I got to that point, there was so much for me to do. To catch every fish and every bug, and just to get all the different types of fruit, and to figure out the specific lineup of villagers I wanted to have in my island, and there's a lot to do, and you could terraform your island, you could do so much. It is a blast. It is a lot of fun to play. I did enjoy it, not just because I wanted to ignore the world outside, but just because I genuinely enjoy those types of games, and this was a really good, well-made one of those types of games. So, if you're the one person in the world that didn't play Animal Crossing New Horizon, you probably should. It's really fun. Okay, 2021. The weird year, because we're coming off of, that. So, not a lot of stuff was happening. Not a lot of people were making new things, A lot of places were closed for a while or just didn't have the output they used to. And media was still trying to figure out how to come back to the world. So I feel like we didn't get a lot of big games, and my favorite of the year wasn't a big game anyway. It was an indie title that I backed on Kickstarter, and it's Sword of the Necromancer. It is like a mystery dungeon dungeon crawling style game. And it's just, I don't know. It was a lot of fun. Like, I like dungeon crawlers. You know, back in the day, I loved Diablo, I loved Darkstone, I loved Torchlight. Those games click for me. They've always been a lot of fun. Like I said, I love Gauntlet. Like, even back in, like, the early Gauntlet, like, arcade days. So that genre always clicked for me anyway. But Sword of the Necromancer, for whatever reason, I saw the trailer on Kickstarter. I'm like, huh, this looks like a lot of fun. Like, I think I could get behind this. This looks kind of cool. And then the game came out, and I was right. It is cool. It's a lot of fun. I really enjoy it. It is a dungeon crawler, similar to a lot of other ones, but when you kill someone with your sword, you can bring them back from the dead as basically a monster that you control, and they can do some fighting for you now. And it's just a fun little extra aspect. You know, it's not Pokemon-like. Don't sue Nintendo. It's not that. But there's the extra layer of challenge because, like, okay, which enemy do I want to bring back and control and have fight for me? Like, which one would be most beneficial? It's that extra little aspect of, like, what would help me most here. Let me figure out how to make that happen. On top of just being a fun dungeon crawler, that really sets this above for me. So, like I said, there wasn't a ton coming out this year anyway. I think the only other contender for me would have been, like, a new Pokemon Snap, which was a lot of fun. I have a lot of nostalgia for Pokemon Snap in 64. It's a game that my sister and I played forever. So when the new one came out, like, I bought her a copy immediately because I'm like, oh my god, you have kids now. Show this to your kids. They could love it like we did. But as much as I did enjoy that, it's still, I have to go Sword of the Necrodancer because it was just, it's a really fun, enjoyable dungeon crawler with some extra little aspects. And also it was an indie game, which just impresses me with what they were able to do because they made a really fun, coherent game with just a small team and crowdfunding money. So, yeah, I enjoyed it a lot. It's my game of the year, and it's a ton of fun. Okay, so I'm going to do something different now. I am going to change my answer from what I had wrote down. Because just thinking about it right now, I want to change it. Pokemon had a couple entries this year. Scarlet and Violet came out in 2022. So did Legends Arceus, which I really loved. I think the changes that made to the franchise, where you basically play as a researcher and just catch millions of Pokemon instead of focusing on, like, battling and doing that kind of stuff. That was a really cool, fun switch up on the game. I enjoyed that a lot. I wish Nintendo didn't suck so much so I could be excited about the new Pokemon Legends game, but But no, originally I was going to say Midnight Suns was my game of the year, because it is an absolute blast. I love the story. I love what they did with the card battle mechanism. I enjoyed that they didn't spend a whole lot of time trying to balance the characters, and instead focused on what would be fun to play with each character. I appreciate everything about the game. It is an amazing game, and it would have been my game of the year, but I discovered earlier this year Disney Dreamlight Valley, and this is the cozy game of my dreams. It's everything Animal Crossing does, but better and more. Because you're not just farming and fishing and crafting and mining and whatever else. You also have a storyline and quests, and that just makes it so much better. First of all, too, the villagers in your island are not random anthropomorphic animals. They're just all the Disney characters. Just all of them. Just all of them. I mean, not all. I have a list of ones I wish were in the game that aren't yet, but there's got to be 50 or so characters at least, and they're adding new ones all the time. But aside from having all those characters, every time you find a new character, and you do have to literally sometimes find them, you get quests for that character and a friendship level. And, you know, as you build up your friendship with them, as you bring them with you when you go fishing or mining or farming, not only will they help you with that chore by maybe producing extra crops or finding additional fish when you catch them or finding more ore when you mine it, but you'll build up your friendship level, which will then unlock quests that you can do with or for them. and those quests reveal a storyline for that character, and you get to, you know, help them as a person. But also, as you level up with them and complete these quests, they give you things. You know, you'll unlock new stuff that you can put in your village, or new outfits that you can wear. You know, when you complete the quest line for Remy, the rat from Ratatouille, you get his restaurant in your village, which is a functional restaurant where you can then serve food to your other villagers to build up your friendship with them as well. And you can buy different cooking ingredients from him that you can only get from him, so it lets you cook more things later. And just, it's a lot of stuff like that, you know. It's it found a way to take the Animal Crossing formula and make it deeper and more interesting. And on top of that, it's Disney. It's, you know, everyone who's a millennial is a Disney kid, whether they want to admit it or not. We all grew up with Disney. We all know these movies. We know these characters. We all love them. And so the game just, it hooks you with that nostalgia, but then it also just has that really cool gameplay and the story and everything. And I absolutely love it. Because it's not just like they repeated the stories from the movies. In fact, most of these take place after the movies that the characters are from. So this is all really good writing. And it's really fun seeing how these characters interact. Because it's not just like seeing Rapunzel fall in love with Flynn Rider. It's seeing how Vanellope von Sweets is untrusting of Scar, and so she tries to lay a trap to catch him in it. Or how Ursula and Mother Gothel team up to oust Merlin because they think he's a very hoity-toity, self-righteous wizard, and they want to prove they're just as powerful as he is. It's, you know, it's all of that kind of stuff. It's these different characters from different movies and franchises interacting in cute and fun ways, and it's just a lot of fun. And also, I will say, for the adults in the audience, there is a storyline. I'm making it sound like they're going to have sex. They're not. But there's a storyline that, oh man, there's a warning on the screen before you start the storyline that says, hey, this could be a little rough emotionally. Make sure you're in a good headspace. And yeah, they're not kidding. They're not. When you do that storyline, it will fuck you up. As an adult that's had to deal with feelings of, you know, self-doubt or depression or loss or whatever, when you go through this storyline, it's gonna punch you in the heart. It's rough, it's hard to get through, it's a lot, but that doesn't mean it's bad. It's the opposite of bad. It's amazing writing, it's incredible storytelling, it's all the credit in the world to these people to making a story so effective in just a cute little sandbox game. I love this game ever since discovering it. I discovered it because they added the Cheshire Cat as a free, update character. Because they do that every so often. They do free updates to add more characters to the game. And they added Alice and the Cheshire Cat. And I'm a huge Alice in Wonderland fan. I love that story. I love everything related to that story. It's just, I don't know why, it's just a thing that I glommed onto. But once I saw they were doing that, I'm like, you know what? I picked that game up when it came out, and then I never played it. It's just been sitting on the shelf. Why don't I give it a try now? Because I want to see the Cheshire Cat. It'll be fun. So I got into it. And I haven't stopped. I can't stop playing. It's everything I want. It's just that brainless, fun, cozy, casual game, and all these cool Disney characters, and all the fun stories. And like I said, they keep adding new characters. They just added Lumiere and Cogsworth a couple weeks ago, and in a couple more weeks we're gonna get Snow White and Tinkerbell and a few other characters. It's just, they keep adding more stuff, and I keep enjoying the stuff that's already there. It's just, it's a great game. I love it so much. You should play it. Everyone should play it. I can't recommend it enough. I want more people to play it so I can talk about it more. It's just amazing. Easily game of the year. Easy game of the year. Sorry, Midnight Suns, you were great, but Dreamlight Valley. Okay, this was a weird year. 2023. I don't think I cared about a single major title that came out this year. Looking at the list here, I think the biggest title I had in my runner-up list is Persona 5 Tactics. Everything else was Dungeons of Aether, Bomb Rush Cyberpunk, The Last Spell, and Unicorn Overlord. And none of those are the game that won. The game that won for me is Dave the Diver, which is also an indie title. It's just fun. Again, cozy games. You know, you're just going and you're hunting fish so that you can make sushi out of them. That's it. That's the game. I don't like the merfolk. I could have spent less time in the stupid merfolk village. I didn't need all that. I like the storylines. I like there was weird stuff happening and this almost cryptid aspect. I loved the Godzilla DLC. That was fun. But just, there was a lot of time spent with merfolk and I didn't care. But every time I got to dive down and get fish and then go a little deeper and get bigger fish and then just like massive sea creatures and just crazy stuff and like the deepest deeps, that was awesome. I loved it. I liked even just the sushi restaurant portion was fun. I like the, not 8-bit, but the very, you know, pixel graphics. Everything about this appealed to me. It was a really fun, funny, kind of kooky, little, charming, cozy game. It's just a blast. There's not many other games like it, but it is a lot of fun. I enjoyed it a bunch. The only thing I don't like is that they did do time-gated DLC, where if you don't download the DLC in a specific window, then it just goes away forever and you can't get it. I think that's really, really stupid. There's no reason to do that. It's dumb. No one should have that model. I hate that. But even with that being a thing that they stupidly did, it's still probably my favorite game of the year. It's just the one I spent the most time with, the one I had the most fun with. It was just very charming and delightful and a blast. I loved it. So yeah, game of the year. Okay, 2024. We're almost done, folks. It's been, oh Jesus Christ, 2 hours and change now, so good luck to editor me. But yeah, this is another year that's basically dominated by indie games. You know, Balatro took the world by storm. Pale Worlds took Nintendo by storm. Formagia, which I'm probably saying wrong. Animal Well, Echoes of Wisdom, which was a Zelda game, so not indie. Fox and Forest, Sea of Stars, just a lot of cool stuff, but nope, none of those. Had to go to Astrobot. If you didn't play Astrobot, and I think there are some people that didn't, I don't know why, those are foolish people, it is the best 3D platformer since Mario 64. Mario 64 is still the top. It will always be. I'm sorry, but nothing's going to beat that. But I think this is the new second place. I would put it above Crash or Spyro or any of the other 3D platformers. It has to be Astrobot. This is so good. It is a love letter basically to gaming. PlayStation decided, hey, you know what? We're going to have a game that celebrates every other game we've had. And so it does. There are levels based on so many different franchises and little unlockable fun characters that are the characters from those franchises. It is full of Easter eggs and little nods to early gaming, even really obscure stuff. You know, references to Viv Ribbon or Mr. Mosquito. Like, never thought I'd see that in a million years, but I did, and it astounded me and made me laugh a lot. But also, it's just a really solid game. Like, even if you take all the Easter eggs and everything out, the gameplay itself, just the controls and the difficulty of the levels, and some of the backtracking or outside-of-the-box thinking you have to do to get 100% and find all the little characters and secrets, it's really well done. It is a ton of fun. And this is another game that, you know, similar like No Man's Sky, they just keep giving you more stuff for it. You know, they've released a bunch of little free updates that have added more characters and more levels, and just, yeah. You can tell the people that made the game love that we love it, because they keep giving us more stuff to give us more reasons to be excited to play it again. And it works, because I do want to keep playing it again. It's just a ton of fun, and I love it. If you like platformers and you haven't played this game somehow, you definitely need to. It's one of the better ones you're ever going to play. It's so much fun. It's really, really good. Definitely the best game to come out last year. And then finally, here we are, 2025, the year I turned 40. I'm an old man. I am close to the grave. This might be the last video game I ever play, But that's okay, because the game is Sonic Crossworlds. There wasn't a ton this year, honestly, that caught my attention. There was shitty Mario Kart World, which was garbage and I hated it. So, you know, definitely not that. Donkey Kong Bonanza, which actually was a decent amount of fun. I don't want to give Nintendo props. I'm certainly not giving them any more money. But they did do good with that one. It was fun. I'm not going to spend $30 on the DLC to get a single new level. Sorry, $20. $30 was the Pokemon unlocking gatekeeping thing. But $20 for a single level is absolute nonsense. I will never do that. Donkey Kong was fun. But no, none of those are my game. It's Sonic Crossworlds. Of course it is. Sonic Crossworlds is incredible. If Mario Kart 8 didn't exist, this would probably be the best kart game. It's so fast-paced and so fun. It's hard not to love it. I know not long ago, Tyler and I played Mario Kart World and Sonic Crossworlds, and we talked about our first impressions and then how we rated them against Mario Kart 8. And we both said 8 was better, and that's still true. But after that day, when we did that video and we played them each for the first time, I've played a bunch more Crossworlds, and man, it's grown on me. Once I got used to the control and handling differences from 8, this really I am hooked. It's more arcade style of a kart racer, whereas Mario Kart 8 had I don't know how to explain the difference, but it had a different feel. But no, now that I've gotten used to this, it's just grown on me a lot, and I absolutely love it. A lot of the courses have just really good tight turns and really good designs that bring back that technical challenge that I feel like we lost with Mario Kart Worlds. And I love the the crossover cameo characters, you know, like Hatsune Miku and Joker, and we've got Steve and Alex and the Creeper from Minecraft. You know, it's really fun having all this extra content and these extra things from other franchises. And it's funny because in the future we're going to get Avatar, The Last Airbender, and Tyler and I have said a million times, you know, when playing Mario Kart 8, it would be so cool if it would cross over with things outside of Nintendo games, or like with the mods where people can make, you know, tracks based on anything. I had said many times, what would be the best mod or the best just out of the blue track, like that I would add if I could add anything, would be, oh god, I might be getting it wrong. Is it Ba Sing Se? The weird mountain town where Aang and his buddy, who's now an old man, ride on the mine carts down like the aqueducts through the thing. You know, I think back to that episode and I'm like, imagine a track in a kart racing game based on that. Like that town where you're going through these aqueducts and jumping from one to the other and just doing all this crazy stuff. Like, what a fun track that would be. And now here we are, Sonic Crossworlds is doing a crossover with Avatar The Last Airbender, and we may very well get that as a track. So the fact that I might be getting the thing that I always said would be really fun, that's really cool to me. And even if we don't get that, even if we get something else, still, this game is just really cool. You know, it's just a lot of fun. I love the customization and the carts and the individual pieces of the carts. I love there is a good variety of characters. It's a pretty solid roster of different characters, and they each have like different stats and different things you can do. I love too that if you want to do easy mode, or if you're playing with like a kid or someone that's just new to kart racing in general and you want to give them a little edge, you can let them play Supersonic, which makes it so all their base stats are higher and they don't take damage from a lot of like obstacles, and it just it gives them an edge to offset their lack of skill. I think that's a cool, fun addition that it can give them, you know, an advantage without completely breaking the game. I don't know. Everything here feels like it was very well done. I feel like the Sonic team and whoever was behind this, like, really, they looked at what was out there as far as kart racers and as far as what people did like and didn't like of the old Sonic racing games, and they listened to actual fans and actual people that play these games, and they said, okay, this is the feedback we see, these are the complaints people have, this is what they say they want, and they listened to all that, and it kind of just made the game that we all said we wanted. You know, it feels fast-paced, it feels technically challenging, it feels more arcadey and just quick. It has fun crossovers and a good-sized roster. It could use more tracks, but we are getting more with the DLC later on, so you know what, I'll wait for those. It's a lot of fun. It is, I'm really enjoying it. I do think the battle maps could use some work. They could be smaller so that you have more room to just battle. If I could change anything, it would either be add more tracks and shrink the battle maps. But honestly, even with that said, I enjoyed it a lot. It was a ton of fun. It is, I think, my game of the year. I kind of love it. And that's it. If you've made it here, I don't know why or how. This was a very long video, but thanks. And happy birthday to me, I guess. I am going to go to my favorite steakhouse and eat way too much steak and feel like a fat person for the next 2 days. And I'm probably going to eat some lamb chops, too. Some lemon pepper smothered lamb chops, cooked like, not, maybe like medium rare. Yeah, it's going to be delicious. But yeah, thanks for watching. Like I said at the very beginning, you know, you're not going to agree with my whole list. I know. That's fine. But seriously, leave your list below. I am curious to see what other games people think, especially if you mention one that wasn't even on, like my honorable mention, like if you pull something out of the blue. Yeah, I'm curious what y'all think. Leave your lists, even if not for the whole 40 years, just, you know, pick a year that you disagree with, or just the years that you've been alive for, whatever. Or hell, like I said, if you want to make your own video, you know, make it, post it, link it down below. Legitimately, I will go watch it. Like, I'm just curious to see what other people think. I love talking about video games, as the last 2 hours may have made you know. So, you know, I want to hear what y'all say, and thanks for letting me say what I wanted to say. Hopefully I get 40 more years doing this, because I could play these games forever. It's my whole life. I love it. Yeah. See y'all later. Bye.